The way is open indeed for the murder of all of us when we become old and infirm and therefore unproductive. Then it will require only a secret order to be issued that the procedure which has been tried and tested with the mentally ill should be extended to other unproductive persons, that it should also be applied to those suffering from incurable tuberculosis, the aged and infirm, persons disabled in industry, soldiers with disabling injuries. Then no man will be safe. Some committee or other will be able to put him on the list of unproductive persons who in their judgment have become unworthy to live, and there will be no police to protect them, no court to avenge his murder and bring his murderers to justice. Who then could have any confidence in a doctor? He might report a patient as unproductive and then be given instructions to kill him. It does not bear thinking of the moral depravity, the universal mistrust which will spread even in the bosom of the family if this terrible doctrine is tolerated, accepted, and put into practice. Woe betide mankind. Woe betide our German people, if the divine commandment, thou shalt not kill, which the Lord proclaimed on Mount Sinai amid thunder and lightning, which God our Creator wrote into man's conscience from the beginning, if this commandment is not merely violated, but the violation is tolerated and remains unpunished. I'll give you an example of what is happening. One of the patients at Marienthal was a man, 55, a farmer from a country parish in the Munster region. I could give you his name, who has suffered for some years from mental disturbance and was therefore admitted to Marienthal Hospital. He was not mentally ill in the full sense. He could receive visits and was always happy when his relatives came to see him. Only a fortnight ago, he was visited by his wife and one of his sons, a soldier on home from the front. The son is much attached to his father, and the parting was a sad one. No one can tell whether the soldier will return to see his father again, since he may fall in battle for his country. The son, a soldier, will certainly never again see his father on earth, for he has since then been put on the list of the unproductive. A relative who wanted to visit the father this week in Marienthal was turned away with the information that the patient had been transferred elsewhere on the instructions of the Council of State for National Defense. No information could be given about where he had been sent, but the relatives would be informed within a few days. What information will they be given? The same as in other kinds of cases, that the man has died, that his body has been cremated, that the ashes will be handed over on payment of a fee. Then the soldier, risking his life in the field for his fellow countrymen, will not see his father on earth again, because his fellow countrymen at home have killed him. The facts I have stated are firmly established. I can give the names of the patient, his wife, and his older son, the soldier, and the place where they live. Thou shalt not kill. God wrote this commandment in the conscience of man long before any penal code laid down the penalty for murder. Long before there were any prosecutor or any court to investigate and avenge a murder. Cain, who killed his brother Abel, was a murderer long before there was any states or any courts of law. And he confessed his deed, driven by his accusing conscience. My punishment is greater than I can bear. And it shall come to pass that every one that findeth me the murderer shall slay me. Thou shalt not kill. This commandment from God, who alone has power to decide life or death, was written in the hearts of men from the beginning. Long before God gave the children of Israel on Mount Sinai his moral code, and those lapidary sentences inscribed on stone, which are recorded for us in Holy Scripture, and which as children we learn by heart in the Catechism. I am the Lord thy God. Thus begins this immutable law. Thou shalt have not other gods before me. God, the only God, transcendent, almighty, omniscient, infinitely holy and just, our Creator and future Judge, has given us these commandments. Out of love for us, He wrote these commandments in our heart and proclaimed them to us. For they meet the need of our God created by nature. They are the indispensable norms for our rational, godly, redeeming, and holy individual and community life. With these commandments, God our Father seeks to gather us, His children, as a hen gathers her chickens under her wings. If we follow these commands, these invitations, this call from God, then we shall be guarded and protected and preserved from harm, defended against threatening death and destruction like the chickens under the hen's wings. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, how often would I have gathered thy children together, even as a hen gathereth her chickens under her wings, and ye would not. If this is to come about in our country of Germany, in our province of Westphalia, in our country of Munster, how far are the divine commandments now obeyed in Germany? How far are they obeyed here in our community? The 8th commandment, thou shalt not bear false witness, thou shalt not lie. How often it is shamelessly and publicly broken. The 7th commandment, thou shalt not steal, whose possessions are now secure since the arbitrary and ruthless confiscation of the property of our brothers and sisters, members of Catholic orders, whose property is protected if this illegally confiscated property is not returned. The 6th commandment, thou shalt not commit adultery. Think of the instructions and assurances on free sexual intercourse and unmarried motherhood in the notorious open letters by Rudolf Hess, who has disappeared since, which was published in all the newspapers. And how much shameless and disreputable conduct of this kind do we read about and observe and experience in our city of Munster? To what shamelessness in dress have our young people been forced to get accustomed to?